Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Connect Spotlight series. This is the first of four that we have throughout the year. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. For those who don't know me, my name is Barb Andrix, and I'm the Economic Development and Public Policy Manager at the Greater Wyoming Valley Chamber of Commerce. Connect is the entrepreneurial and economic development arm of our chamber, where we support business and workforce development and foster connection and collaboration among the community. If it's your first time here, Spotlight is one of the core programs we run through Connect. This is our quarterly speaker series that allows us to feature local entrepreneurs, industry leaders, students, and nonprofits, and give them a chance to talk about their businesses and their areas of expertise. Tonight's Spotlight is hosted in coordination with the Wilkes-Barre Launchbox for Penn State Startup Week. Tonight, we are spotlighting and featuring entrepreneurs that successfully launched and sustained their businesses through community branding. We're excited to hear about their work, and we encourage you to take advantage of the Q&A sessions we'll have afterwards. And of course, our Connect Spotlight series events would not be possible without the continued support of the Wilkes-Barre Launchbox. At this time, I'd like to welcome Bill Anadhazy, Launchbox Coordinator of the Northeast region, to share some opening remarks and get us started with our speakers for tonight. Bill?
Thank you, Barb. Welcome to Penn State Startup Week. Startup Week is a university-wide series of events that we do throughout the Commonwealth that take place every spring. And this brings together some of the leading minds in entrepreneurship and innovation to each one of our campuses in every corner of this Commonwealth. Again, my name is Dr. Bill Anadhazy. I'm part of the Invent Penn State network of Launchbox Innovation Hubs here in northeastern Pennsylvania. For those of you unfamiliar with the Launchbox concept, we're a free community toolbox for entrepreneurs. So it gives people who have a business idea or maybe somebody who's just in that early launch phase the practical help they might need to get it off the ground. Each location here in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, and Hazleton is designed to help members of our community turn ideas into real businesses by reducing risk, speeding up learning, and connecting them with the right support at the right time. The Wilkes-Barre Launchbox is proud to sponsor tonight's event From Startup to Standout, how community branding supercharges local presence. Tonight's conversation dives into one of the most powerful and often overlooked drivers of entrepreneurial success, the ability to build a community that genuinely cares about your brand. We'll explore how startups and growing businesses can move beyond that transactional relationship to a more cultivating loyal advocates who champion the mission, fuel word-of-mouth momentum, and create long-term sustainability. We're going to talk about simple, practical ways to create those real connections, ones that'll turn your brand into something people feel proud to support. It's going to be fun, inspiring, so let's get started. Our first speaker tonight is Neil Patel. Neil Patel is a seasoned corporate executive and entrepreneur with more than 35 years of leadership experience in the restaurant industry. Born in Manchester, England, and raised in Clifton, New Jersey, he brings the grit and determination instilled by his Indian immigrant parents, who arrived in the United States in 1969 and taught him the value of hard work, perseverance, and pursuing big dreams. A dedicated family man, Neil has been married to his wife Stephanie for 27 years, and together they have three wonderful children, Mercedes, Zoe, and Jackson. Neil is the owner and operator of Toasty Bagels with locations in Mountaintop, Plains Township, and South Abington, an upcoming expansion to Shavertown in late 2026. His entrepreneurial journey began early, having owned the bagel factory in 1996. Throughout his corporate career, Neil has held executive roles leading large-scale operations across nationally recognized brands, including the SVP of Operations at Bertucci's Brick Oven Pizza and Tijuana Flats, the VP of Operations for Einstein Brothers Bagels, VP of Operations for Aubin Pain. Known for operational excellence, team development, and building high-performance cultures, Neil blends hands-on experience with strategic leadership, continuing to shape the restaurant industry both as an operator and a visionary executive. Please welcome Neil Patel.
I don't know if I even need this mic. I talk loud from Jersey. First of all, that sounds like I'm very old because I've been around. But, start off, my career started way back early in Jersey. And the one thing my parents always instilled was a lot of things, but a couple things was never give up on your dreams and never be late. But that kind of backfired today because I was early and I had to go first and you guys got to go, second and third. But that was the one thing my parents always said, never give up and keep going. When I started out in bigger cities with corporate or individual, it's tougher. The whole premise of tonight's event is starting up and then standing out. It's always tougher to stand out in a bigger city, but when you're in a small communities like this, you have to stand out for a couple reasons. A, you're a part of the community, so if something goes wrong, like we were talking earlier, Aiden, and they're going to let you know. So you gotta make sure your team and everybody that is on part of your team understands quality, consistency, and customer service, especially in my business. Again, nothing new that probably none of us heard, but the biggest thing that I took from my corporate world into what we're doing with Toasty Bagels now is I wanted to develop a brand that looked bigger than it was, of course, because I want to expand and build it, but I wanted to keep that community feel. So each store is of whatever city we are in, and then we support the community through, we never resell any of our bagels that we make from scratch. We give them for donation, we give them to churches, we give them the food bags. That just builds that community atmosphere. The other piece is I give my cell phone to everybody. If we make a mistake, call me, we'll fix it. No one's perfect, and no matter what we're doing in life, no one's perfect. We make a mistake, we fix it. The biggest other thing that, younger entrepreneurs that want to start, keep it simple. Whatever your dreams are, whatever you want to do, keep it simple. Don't try to keep up with others. In the corporate world, that's so paramount. Running Einstein Noah's, I'll give you an example. I ran 60 restaurants in 3 different states back in the early 2000s, and it was all about keeping up with Panera or keeping up with. So if they were selling something, we had to sell it. Now all of a sudden, your food cost goes up or whatever. Other labor goes up. And again, the one thing in the corporate world, you got to keep labor down because that's how they make money. And that's the one thing I never kind of jived with when I was in the corporate world, is keeping that, especially with staffing. To keep staffing, you have to take care of them. You can't just, assume you're going to hire people and they're going to stay with you forever unless you take care of them. And then at the very end of this, I would say if you ever want to scale up, scale down. What I'm doing with Toasty Bagels really is keeping it simple. What I learned is I didn't want to, especially with Brick Oven Pizza when I was with them, late nights, didn't want any of that. So find what your niche is, what you want to do, and then figure out how to keep it simple, do it right. I wanted a one-shift model, so if you had a manager in your business and they had to work open to close, it's still only a 9-hour day. We close at 3 o'clock. I've had numerous people in my mountaintop location, now even in Plains, can you stay open later? I could, and we probably would do more sales than one thing I missed out when I was in the corporate world was family life. You got to have a good balance. That's the other thing. No matter what you start, have a good balance. If you're early in your life and you're by yourself, still make time for yourself. But if you got a family, I know I made that mistake. I remember when we moved here in 2020 and COVID was just happening. Right before that, I was traveling. I was 250 nights a year in a hotel. And my wife goes, I'm going back. She's from this area. That's how we ended up here. She goes, I'm going back home. You're either coming or you're not. So it's an ultimatum when you get from your wife. You decide real quick. Best decision I made. We love living in Mountaintop, love the Plains area. South Abington should open by the end of May, and then part of that is because both my older daughters, 34 and 24, want to get into the business. That's the only reason I did more. I said, all right, we'll do it. Then I got to teach you guys how to do it. I'm getting too old to keep getting up at 3:30 in the morning. So I'm teaching them how to do it now, and they like it. I think I was talking to, I forget the name, but I was talking to somebody out there. I said, I've never worked with my daughters, but they're out working me. So it kind of tells me maybe I did something right. You know, because they're working hard. But, you know, the biggest advice I could give is follow your dreams. You're never too old. I'm 60 this year, and I'm going to keep building until they tell me to stop. But never give up on your dreams, because you will fail. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Pick yourself up, and the success will outweigh all the failures. All I got.
Very thought-provoking, Neil. My wife always asks, when am I going away again? So, all right. So, on to our next speaker. I'd like to introduce Marisa Schmidt. Marisa is the owner and operator of Long Live Playtime, a children's indoor play space and cafe in Edwardsville, offering play, parties, events, and handcrafted beverages. After 12 years of clinical experience as an occupational therapist, Marisa opened Long Live Playtime in 2024 as a way to step out of traditional OT practice and utilize her skills in a unique and fulfilling way. Never having identified as an entrepreneur, the drive to open the business really came from the desire to fill a drastic community need, break out of the stifling restrictions of clinical care. Marisa resides in Dallas with her husband Brian and two young sons, Jamie and Murray. Please welcome Marisa Schmidt.
Can you hear me? Okay. I'm a little different. You are very impressive with like one heck of a background. So I'm coming from a whole different ball game here. And I wrote stuff down because I will just say whatever comes out of my mouth. So my childhood, my career background, what I thought would be my realistic future did not involve owning a business or being an entrepreneur at all. I went to college to get my master's degree in occupational therapy because I wanted to help people. I had every intention of doing that for the rest of my working life. I believe in OT and I loved it, and I'm still a licensed and registered therapist, and I'll never say never about going back to clinical care someday. But I did often say to my husband, however, I think our area needs a children's museum. It was a dream, just a dream I never ever thought I would come close to fruition because I'm not a business person. I don't like numbers. I don't like selling things. It's just not me, but it's what I'm doing now. But I just like helping people, bringing others joy. So this business dream was just one of those things that you talk about and you hope that some other person with more business intuition and drive and money will do it. I also talked about opening a smoothie shop, but that didn't happen. But I do have a coffee shop now, so I guess it kind of happened. I continued to work, while talking about this dream, I kept working as an occupational therapist. I worked in a hospital, a nursing home, eventually in pediatrics, and I was raising my two children. But having children made the absence of a developmentally appropriate play center in our community glaringly obvious. As my older one was in school and then my younger one was inching closer to school, I found myself wondering what I would do next. I had only been working part-time while they were really young, so it just became like a now or never type of thing. Like, are we really gonna do this? I don't know, but if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. So leaving the career that I worked so hard for and spent a lot of money on was very scary, and it was very guilt-ridden. I felt like I was a good therapist and is leaving the healthcare world the wrong thing to do. But I've always known deep down I couldn't do the same thing forever, and I'll always want a challenge. I'll always want to do more to help the community, and I felt like I was missing that. And despite sometimes trying to avoid it, I'll always want to be a leader. And I definitely think like we have this one life, and I can't leave any of my own stones left unturned, and that was a stone I had to just turn and see what would happen. Um, so my husband Brian supported me hands down and agreed to help me with the numbers part, which is much more his speed, not mine. That man loves a spreadsheet. I do not, but that's his wheelhouse. That's what he does for his job. So I'm like, if you're gonna help me with that, maybe we can do this. It was certainly the part that scared me the most because I don't have a business background, so it made me really hesitant. So I could not be here without him doing that because I like to say I'm like the fun ideas gal, and he's the one who keeps me on budget. So some of the challenges, when I originally started, it was with two partners. I was convinced that I was not capable of doing it alone. I thought it would be better financially as well, but neither of these things were true. And doing it with partners proved to not be a great idea for a variety of reasons. Yes, I did write stuff down, and now my dry fingers. I can't. um, so I worked hard on our business plan, and as things came together, I realized I could do it. So I started over with my husband from scratch and built it myself from the ground up. Indoor children's play spaces are not easy to get funded or to get insured. They, in fact, I watch a lot of businesses with similar plans fail all over the country every day. Ones that opened the same time as me, ones that opened after me. So it's really, it's scary to watch, and it's hard to get that money. It's hard to get insurance. It took a lot of research. It took a rock solid business plan with backup plans for my backup plans, which I had never written a business plan in my life. I never even took a business class. So I'm here to say you could do it. But it took a lot of work and a lot of patience, and we really had to prove that we could do it successfully and safely. I also found that sexism is alive and well in business and in real estate. I felt that was a bit of an uphill battle, and combined with just the hesitancy towards the place-based industry. But the positive thing is I'm really stubborn, so I wasn't going to let any of that stop me. So we just kept pushing. As far as community branding, though, I'm not exaggerating in any way when I say that our work with the community, the connections we've made, the support we've received back is the driving reason we're still open at all. My heart and soul went into opening the place, but our amazing, amazing staff and the unwavering support from the community we've built and the parents and the kids, that's the new foundation upon which we stand. Like without that foundation continuing to grow, we wouldn't be here. I feel like we give to our community with no reciprocal expectations. We just give with love and inclusion. And I truly believe that our patrons feel that deeply, and I think they know that we mean it genuinely. We have an event room. We offer that up every chance we get. Book clubs, and anything you can come up with, people know they can reach out to us and that our room is there because they feel like they're a part of a community. With each event we hold, each culture or small part of our local community we support and represent, they see us as genuine. We often include the unincluded. They see us as more than just a faceless play place. A lot of people walk in and they think that we're a franchise and there must be 100 of them around. We're like, no, it's just us. And the longer they spend there, they realize it's not faceless. They get to know all of us. They know our names. We know their names. We're like aunties to some of these little children who have been coming since they were born. We watched them, just last week, we watched a little boy take his first steps, and they have no family in this area. They have no village. We are their village. We went to his birthday party. Like, it's amazing. We celebrate their milestones. We watch their kids so they can go pee in peace. We'll hold their babies. They know it, and they trust us. We know the parents' favorite drink order when they walk in. We're like, oh, you want a caramel cookie butter iced latte? We got you. We know that's what you like. I'm not sure I would go so far as to say we brand ourselves as community driven. I'd be more likely to say community is just the entire core of who we are as a business. It's our inspiration, basis of our business plan, and it's why we're still here. Without it, I'm not sure we'd succeed. I've lost count on the amount of parents who have told us it feels like another home, that they've made friends that they never would have without it. Mothers who told us their mental health was in shambles until they became a part of this community, and that our staff feels like an extension of their family. So if I had any advice, it would be to come to your community from a place of genuineness. You can't just make a post online and consider that enough. Research the cultures in your area, research the marginalized in your community, meet with your fellow community members truly, listen to their ideas, listen to their needs, make them a part of your business. And they'll feel like they have a real stake in it because in actuality they do, especially in ours. Community is how we'll survive these trying times in business. As far as entrepreneurial advice, I still don't look at myself as a business person or an entrepreneur, if I'm being honest. I don't know if I ever will. Despite being a for-profit company, I still go at everything with a voluntary and a passion-driven outlook. I don't really want to change that, but I can say I am living proof that someone without a business bone in their body can still make the thing happen. And if it doesn't last forever for me or you'll never have to live with the regret of not trying it. And that's the most important part to me.
Appreciate that, Marisa. Thank you very much. Our third speakers are Kim and Aiden Baird. Kim and Aiden started This Life Apparel shortly before COVID hit, printing apparel from a small sunroom of their house. They took the time to learn as much as they could about printing and design, and before they knew it, they found a brick and mortar location right up the road from where they live. It was the most incredibly scary time in our lives at that moment, investing everything into the unknown, and now here we are about to celebrate 4 years in our shop, says Aiden. They went from printing single shirt orders to printing for local schools and setting up apparel stores within their website for dozens of businesses, sports, and organizations. Being business owners is the toughest yet most rewarding job we both have ever had. We have met so many amazing people along the way, and we could not be more grateful that we decided to embark on this journey. No matter what you do in life, hard work and dedication pay off, and we are living proof of that, says Aiden. Please welcome Kim and Aiden.
Can everybody hear me? Thank you guys so much for having us be here. It's such an honor. You guys did so awesome before us. It's warm up here, so you guys knocked it out of the park. So Aiden's going to start us off. Our story's fun. We can be up here talking for hours, but we're going to cut it short for you.
How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you very much for having us. We're very grateful to be able to be here to tell our story, which was crazy. Now, go back maybe, our son was 5, so you're talking, he just turned 16. We actually took custody of 2 of her siblings when they were teenagers, and I thought, this will be easy, no problem. 5 years old's good, 13 and 15, we can nail it. 4 jobs later, getting up at 2:30 in the morning, starting throwing newspapers, which I will say was the crappiest, but the most fun job we ever had. 7 days a week, doesn't matter the weather. We worked 3 jobs doing merchandising. We threw about 50,000 pounds of molding at 5 different Lowe's locations on top of everything. We both came from corporate Walmart. I was a big boss. She was a produce manager right before we did all that. And, we were just spinning the bowl. All the money came in, all the money went out. Didn't matter how many hours a day we worked, what time we came home, we were just exhausted. So there was a point where Kim was like, look, hey, I saw that Under Armour shirt when we were out at the store. Why don't you buy that? And I'm here like, I'm not spending $30 on a t-shirt. We barely made dinner last night. So I said, look, hey, why don't we try to make t-shirts? I'll make them for myself, and maybe we can sell a few and make some money. And, hesitantly, she supported me on that because really, I have a retail background. Never went to college, just finished up high school, and that was the end of it. And my mother always told me, make sure you go to college. And I thought, now I have the equivalent of running a business, working at Walmart, looking at all spreadsheets and P&Ls and all that corporate crap. So she went for it, and we got ourselves a setup in an 8x8 sunroom, which was about 100 degrees in the summertime, printing T-shirts. We went to a flea market and tried to sell shirts, and you don't know what you're doing. You're just doing it. When you love the idea of something and you're willing to put in the effort, you do what you have to do. So COVID hit shortly after that, and when you'd think we'd be over, COVID shirts out the wazoo. Everybody wanted them. Here we are from home, printing them, meeting someone in Nanticoke, meeting somebody out in Edwardsville, driving around with a $10 shirt for sale that somebody wanted. And, it really made it what it was. And then shortly after COVID ended, we were just driving down the street, and right up the road from us, there's this, it's on Kidder Street, but it's a little off the beaten path. It was available for rent. And she had said when we were walking, when that place comes available, we're going to take that. And there was a big for rent sign. So she hopped out the car and called the phone number, and the landlord lived upstairs. Friday, we met him, took the keys, and by that Monday, we were in the building thinking, what did we just do? And honestly, I have no experience in print.
Can you hear me? Yes. Aiden's parents live farther away, so if we fail, it's us. We're all we have. So having the jobs was the security. And now we're going to be opening this place for 40 hours a week. How can we work all those jobs? I'm happy we took the leap, but the first year was really gut-wrenching. We were busy, but was it enough? We signed paperwork, but should we have? Were we really equipped to do it? So my best advice is don't let the nerves get the best of you. And even when you fail, and even when stuff seems so bad, that's just aligning you for what's to come. And I didn't realize that at the time, and unfortunately made myself super sick with vertigo and all that from stress. I wish I can go back and tell myself, you got this. This is where you're supposed to be. And any failure was just to set you up to where we are right now. And no, we're not where we, necessarily will end up, but we're okay right now, and it worked out. So I'm just so honored to be able to be up here speaking, talking to everybody about our experience. But just know that whatever you want to do, you could do. And believe in yourself and make sure you have a good support. Because if I didn't have this guy, I don't know what I would have did. We bounce off each other. We work really well. And one of our things when we opened the business was we wanted to be community driven. We wanted to give back. We opened the business we live the next street down. So we wanted to build the community and create a space where everybody's welcome. Everybody could feel comfortable, so we started doing free events. We did free spaghetti dinners, free tie-dye events, free hot dog events. This guy makes a mean hot dog, and it just grew. Our first event was, maybe 60 to 100 people. The last event we had hundreds of people. The street was blocked off, and I looked at him and I said, little old Aiden and Kim, who knew? Who knew? So, yeah, pretty cool. I'll give it back to you now that you have the mic.
Now can you hear me again? Yeah, the events were great. I'm the guy in the back room. I'm not really, the social type. When someone comes in the door, I usually am pretending to be busy if I'm not, so she can run out. The phone rings, it's just right there by her table, so I know how to work it. But I was always out there doing the hot dogs while she was in there with everybody taking care of things. But everybody knows us, and as weird as that is pretty cool. We don't go anywhere without somebody seeing us, and it's probably because I wear nothing but our stuff. Even before we were something, I'd make these stupid shirts with these funny sayings, and I'd walk up to a random person, they'd say something, and I'd be like, yeah, I print shirts. And Kim's like, stop doing that. Stop telling everybody. And I'm like, but look, no one will know until you know. And now I don't wear anything unless it has our brand on it. And, we see people and we're, oh, hey, how's your kids? And how's that situation that you were going through, you were telling us about? And I can tell every one of you that has come into the store what size you are in a t-shirt and a sweatshirt. And I remember when your kids were born and they used to be in toddlers and now they're in adult sizes. And as weird as it is when you print shirts, you just hear about so many people and, we make so many friends. We don't actually need friends because everybody that walks into our building is part of our family, is our friend. And anytime they need anything from us, they reach out. Any questions they have her cell phone number. They'll call the store and I'm like, well, Kim, that's for you. And it's more than just running a business. Being a business owner is the most difficult thing I've ever done. And I remember in kindergarten, I told my mom that my teacher evidently said I wanted to run a business and do my own thing. Never did I thought I would. But honestly, this is what makes it go round. It's true. You really need somebody, whether doing it together. We met at Walmart. We've been working together for the last 15 years. Every day, all hours of the day, raising the kids together. We've done it all and never had a problem. It's just very rewarding, and no matter what you want to do, you figure it out. I knew nothing about it, and now we just got another machine, and it's like Christmas for me, just to learn it, try it out, and see what it does, and it excites our customers when we grow. Actually, a customer just came in today and said, boy, you guys are really blowing up. And I thought, wow, that's cool. I don't even look at it that way. 4 years after being in our business, we'll be celebrating in June, and every time the phone rings or we get an email and it's a booster club looking for shirts for their softball team or a website that we have to build that I had no idea how to do when we started, I'm grateful for that. I think it's really cool that someone wants to work with us and thinks what we provide for them is valuable. So no matter what you do or what you want to do, or no matter how many other people out there are doing the same thing you are, find something that makes you stand out. We have little things about our business that are a little bit different than the 6 or 8 businesses that do the same thing in this county. Find something that makes you stand out a little bit differently and embrace that, because that stuff matters to customers.
And I'll go back and touch on how he said about babies being born and all that. I just got invited to a baby shower that we made all the apparel and all the little things for. We went to a wedding. And these are just customers that we met coming into the store. So, yeah, and honestly, have fun. Have fun. Because everyone that owns a business will tell you the same thing. It goes by so fast. Time flies, and we just talked about this. Enjoy the little moments. Don't stress out. Everything works out. And if you ever have questions, come to This Life Apparel. We would love to talk to you. It is for the community. Everybody comes in, and we all talk about their problems, and we're one big family. So, yeah.
That's it.
That's it. That's us.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Kim and Aiden. I want to thank all the speakers today for sharing your insights with us, but most importantly, you were very inspirational. There was a lot of commonalities amongst you, as well as your uniqueness stood out. So thank you for sharing that with us. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open up the floor to questions. So if anyone has a question for any one of the speakers.
Yes, for This Life Apparel. So you said you was running your business for 4 years, right? Oh. Okay. So what was the hardest challenges y'all faced, like going through making your brand and everything like that?
Like the exact brand itself?
Yes, yes.
So I think the hardest thing we challenged was getting ourselves out there. Really, there's a lot of competition in what we do. There's tons of other printing places around. So making sure we really get ourselves out there. And what we didn't do was advertise. We just let word of mouth and Facebook, honestly, social media. We put everything we had into the business, all of our savings. We didn't take a loan out, because we had all the overhead we knew was coming. So honestly, word of mouth. When you impact somebody enough, they're going to tell everybody they can about their experience. So you keep providing that experience to that person, and they're never going to forget about you, and they're always going to recommend you.
Same question to the same company. I just wanted to know, like, you say you wear the apparel all the time. That's cool. It's like, that's advertisement within itself. So that's genius. But did you start like your own clothing line through that, or you're just branding, wearing your stuff? Like,
Is it? No? Thank you. When we first started, I thought, we'd sell our own brand. And we do sell our own stuff, but it kind of more or less morphed into like, we're really known for like funny shirts. We have a whole storefront where you can come in and buy shirts, and a lot of them are offensive funny, but everybody loves them. So that's kind of been where we've geared towards. I just like wearing it because I feel like it's easy marketing for us. Not to mention, we get some pretty good clothes, and it sells. I'll be bringing someone out, and I'm all about specifics, tie-dye shirts, anything really wild, and someone will they've bought shirts right off her and be like, I like that. I really like your shirt. Can I get that? And I think it's just always in your face. I'm in your face. Like I said, I'm the first person. I got business cards. Anybody want one of those? I'll give them to you. Our son has more business cards in his wallet and came home from school and said, so my teacher is the swim coach, and she took one of our cards because she stalks you guys on Facebook, and she wants some gifts for her swimmers. And that's just, I'm that guy. I'm the one that makes my wife cringe. And then she turns around and she's now the one that wears all the business stuff. She'll buy something off TikTok. Aiden, can you put the logo on that? I just feel like when you always make somebody remember you in some way, they'll just never forget about it. You'd be surprised what we can put logos and stuff on. You could walk around with pretty much anything we can. If I can slap a logo on something, I'm gonna put it on there. I've tried it all. Yes, just us. That's it. You see what you get, and that's all it is. It's just us. Thank you. We're on Kidder Street in Wilkes-Barre.
There's.
With your website, how did you handle that part of it?
Yeah, so. Oh, okay. So when we first started, we got this big fancy POS system because I swindled the guy to give it to us for free. Because I just told him there was another business willing to give it to us without paying to rent it, so he just brought in like $1,500 worth of stuff. But it came with the ability to have a website, and you just pay the additional month. And I have no experience in digitizing or vector art or graphic design, which is what I do all day long now. You put the website up, and then you just got to figure out the coding. YouTube was my best friend for a long time. And I know most people steer away from that, but really, it honestly helped me a lot. And now we have a site full of our own products, but then we have stores within our website where we sell other organizations, sports, businesses, things like that. And we sell all of theirs, whether it's full-time stores or even fundraising. But you just slap that website on everything. And find one that works easily for you, that's user-friendly, because the one we have works really, really well.
That's nice. Now, do you have a YouTube channel?
No, but we did go on a podcast the first year of being in business, and he said we thought, you guys would be good on a YouTube channel. We have a TikTok, and we tried, videos and stuff, but it is a lot when it's just her and I. He just started working to help out after school, but we don't have employees because no one will care as much as we do. Right. And what we put out, we want you to love, and right. If you don't, we want to make you love that right. And make that right. And I feel like we're in the kind of industry where we could hire someone, but are they going to do it as well as we do?
Right.
So we're very limited to what we can do. Sometimes she'll be up there talking, and I'm like, oh my God, we're a little bit behind now. But honestly, the website just kind of came as an after. It was really more of the word of mouth thing. Now the website gets more clicks in a month than I ever had imagined it would. So all of that, I think, just comes with time.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. That was awesome.
I got a question for Long Live Playtime. Where did you get inspiration to start the business? And did you get it I know that there used to be like a bunch of McDonald's and Burger Kings and things like that kind of had like a similar model, but I feel like I haven't seen them in, 10, 15 years. Did you get any?
I think more so it was the fact that, having young kids too, that you have to drive at least an hour to get to like a real children's museum. Have you ever been to Please Touch Museum in Philadelphia? it's amazing. It's amazing. There's a children's museum in Binghamton that just where kids could really just like explore and play and just kind of get lost in the moment. And I felt like we just did not have that around here. I mean, we have trampoline parks, we have climbing type places, but I think with my background in occupational therapy too, where I did work in pediatrics for a while, I know a lot about childhood development. And like, we're really missing a play place where kids are not just playing, they're also working on skills and they can kind of get lost in those skills. And parents can feel comfortable knowing that they're not just like letting their kids run and play. They're actually learning while they're doing it. And we just had to drive too far for that. There's so many families around here. There's so many kids. I even now, in June it'll be 2 years we're open. We get new families every single day, and I'm like, it's crazy how many kids are around here, and the lack of play places, so to speak. The model that we have, where we have a cafe in the front, which is, I mean, we have a full service coffee, espresso. Anybody could come. You don't need to have kids. And follow us online. Ahmad comes in to get coffee all the time. So the coffee, the play cafe model is actually really popular in other parts of the country. There's a lot in Texas, a lot in Florida, a lot in the Midwest, and it just really is not around here very much.
North Carolina, there were a few.
Yeah, there's a lot, and like I said before, that they close a lot. So I really, really researched and thought we can't just open whatever. It's, I don't if you remember the old movie where they said, if you build it, they will come. That's used to be my motto in my head, but I'm like, you can't just build anything. So I took a lot of inspiration. I took inspiration from the play cafes. I took inspiration from my occupational therapy background. I took inspiration from the children's museums, and really just wanted to build upon the best parts of all those things. But the coffee was paramount. That had to happen, and it had to be good. And we use Electric City Roasting, which is out of Scranton Troop area. So like that's another community thing. So I think, yeah, the inspiration came from a little bit of everywhere, but I think we are set apart from the other play cafes you may come across because there's a lot more intention behind what's there. We didn't just like buy a play set and throw it in there. Every nook and cranny that the kids get into, there's something developmental, there's some other kind of learning process. We're also extremely inclusive because I do use my OT background. We have like a board that kids can point to if they're nonverbal. We have a changing table in one of our bathrooms for kids of any size, or even adult size changing table. Just so many little things that are in there that I think also set us apart from these places, even from the big children's museums aren't even that inclusive in a lot of places. So I think it kind of just came from everywhere.
Thank you. And yeah, I think it's a really cool business, and I think it's really important, so thank you. I promise I wasn't paid to say that. I'm saying I think it's a really important business, so thank you. Because, yeah, I feel like a lot of kids these days aren't getting that social interaction. There's a lot of screen time, so.
Yeah, one more thing on that notion is that one thing I've noticed when people come in is sometimes they'll send us messages and say, well, my kid is 6. They're probably too old for this, right? I'm like, are you kidding me? Your kid is a kid. Please don't say that your kid is outgrown play. Like, we have kids who are 8, 9, 10, even 11, 12 years old who still come in and play. We have pretend play, we have gross motor play, we have STEM play, we have everything. And sometimes kids just need to be given that opportunity. I think there are a lot of kids in that age range from like 5 to 10 that people think, oh, they don't really play much anymore. But then you see them come in, and once they get in there, all of a sudden they're building this, they're doing that. They're like in it, and their parent will say to me, oh my God, we were here for 2 hours. They didn't stop. I'm like, because they're kids. They're just, those opportunities aren't there as much anymore. So I'm so happy that we can bring it to the community.
Thank you.
So my question is for the apparel company. Is it just
screen print, or do you plan on ever maybe expanding into embroidery or anything like that?
So we don't screen print, which is exactly what we projected to do because everybody else screen prints. We actually just bought an embroidery machine about a month ago, so we're pretty excited. We use some different new age heat transfer methods. I personally, not to offend anybody who does, I don't like a screen print because I feel like it's a paint that just cracks. So we use all different type of heat transfers, and shirts we have last for years and years without peeling, without cracking. We really stand by what we do, but again, what we use is a little bit different than other businesses do. Even if it's costly, costs a little bit more for us. Screen printing's way more effective cost-wise, but I feel like it's worth it.
Awesome. Great. Well, I will be talking to you after about the embroidery.
Yes, I have another question for Mr. Bagel Guy. Yeah, I'm giving you
What
one.
happens when you go first? You forget about you.
No, seriously, like I said earlier, I am in hospitality, I'm in food. I was very interested in what did you do to scale to have multiple locations? Did you actually franchise and you did that, or you just keep opening locations with the same?
It's a great question.
Yeah, I would
good
be
question.
extremely interested.
What
in
I
that.
meant by scaling down to scale up is, and it's not a franchise. I don't franchise. Maybe down the road, but right now I don't. But what I meant by scaling down is keep your, kind of like what you just said, Aiden. Keep it simple, do it right, and when you want to scale up, you have to make sure that it's duplicatable, if that makes sense. Because if you can't duplicate it without you there, you can't keep scaling up. To your point, you could keep growing and have more people, then you lose control. In the restaurant world, you will lose control. You
Right,
will.
That's right.
But if you build it where you could manage it from afar, like we make all our stuff from scratch. All our bagels are made from scratch. All our doughs from scratch. But I have the equipment now that's more user-friendly than back in New York and New Jersey where we hand-rolled everything. That doesn't exist. So if you're doing a one location operation, you could be there all the time. But when you're expanding like I am, you have to make sure you keep it simple. That's why the hours are only 6 to 3. That's why the menu is, I run restaurants that had 250, 300 SKUs. I got 40 SKUs. That's it. I could teach everybody in here how to do everything I do in 1 week. And that's what I meant by scaling down. Because if you're going to duplicate it, you got to make sure as soon as you walk in, you see something's wrong, you'll know it. And that's pretty much it. But it's not easy because you got to rely on people. And that's the hard part. That's why I got my whole family work. No, I'm kidding. Just my 2 daughters. Oh, just my 2 daughters. But yeah, I think you find what you want, and then you can decide if you want to scale up. But franchising is a good way to do it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But you got to have 2 years under your belt. There's a lot to go through. I think you were talking about P&Ls and spreadsheets. You got to have everything in line before you could even franchise anything. But I am branding it to potentially do something down the road. Yes.
Yeah, I would probably really want to talk to you about that.
Yeah,
'cause
absolutely.
I mean, I have more of a menu,
Yeah.
with way more items, but scaling down is attractive to think about.
Yeah,
with what I
think
sell
people-
and just
I
make
think
specials. I guess.
Small businesses also get lost in trying to do too much.
Yeah, I agree.
You do what you do it right, do it consistently, and it'll come. Field of Dreams is the movie you were talking about. But that's just keep it simple. But you can expand. But it's all what you want to do too. I mean, believe me, if my daughters didn't want to come back, I would sit in one store in Mountaintop and Plains, and I'd be done. But I like it.
So okay, so just one more to that then. So did you, because now we can meal prep, we can DoorDash, we can, cater or whatever. So did you do all those things?
Yeah, that's another great question.
Yeah.
In my corporate life, we did everything because you want to capture every dollar. I don't want my quality going out that door through a DoorDash driver and then eating half of it because no matter what happens, and you hear all these horror stories, but the younger generation likes that. But at the end of the day, I can't send something out to somebody else and they get it and all of a sudden, it doesn't matter even if DoorDash takes care of it. they're gonna come back to me and say, oh, the bagel I got from your DoorDash driver wasn't any good. So I do catering, but all in-house. I don't do anything external. We do use a company called Easy Catering. I don't know if you ever heard of them. It's corporate catering only. So that's a good website if you want to expand your business.
Okay.
Easy Catering, there is a percentage involved, but that goes to big offices and things like that. So that's pretty good. But I don't do DoorDash I'm thinking about it. I'm not going to say I'm not thinking about it, but I just lose control then, you know?
Thank you.
Oh, you got it.
Anybody else? Okay, let's give one more round of applause to all of our speakers. Thank you for sharing your insights and showing us just what great ideas and opportunities exist through your thoughtful leadership in various industries. And another big thank you to the Wilkes-Barre Launchbox for sponsoring our Spotlight event. We so appreciate your support. If you would like to participate in our efforts outside of entrepreneurship, we do a lot of great work in workforce development as well. Our program, Luzerne Learns to Work, provides Luzerne County high school students with a process and platform to explore career pathways, workforce development tools, and local industry career pipelines. Through this program, we assist businesses in offering work-based learning experience to Luzerne County high school students. So if you would like to be a more active part of developing your future workforce, reach out to our team and we will get you registered for free. Honor Veterans Recognition Luncheon is a significant event that honors and celebrates the contribution of veterans and veteran entrepreneurs in the region. This annual event brings together the community to recognize their resilience, dedication, and entrepreneurial spirit. The luncheon serves as a platform for gratitude and support for veterans transitioning into the business world. So please save the date. If you're interested in anything I've mentioned here or just want to stay involved, come find anyone on our team and we'd be happy to share your information. Thank you for tonight. We really appreciate your presence.
Guys, I just want to say one thing on the honor event. We're not live streaming anymore, right? We are open.